And usually, typically the young men that we're seeing are probably in their early 20s too. Seeing a lot more men of that age bracket coming forward, and it just seems to be coming up over and over again.
Yeah, it's the identification they have internally with respect to their ego identity, with the influence of the mother as the prime imprinter of the anima. All of that being said in classical Jungian terms, and it's the persistence of that and how that then affects every single relationship that they have in their life. It's awful, actually.
It is awful, because clearly, I guess the one thing that we all want from our mothers is affirmation for who we are, as opposed to who our mothers might want us to be, and therein is the collision. And a lot of these young men too, I think, are they're living out the unfulfilled potential of their own mothers to some extent. Of course, that's not the whole picture, but where that's active, it's life sapping, isn't it? It really, really is. And they're suffering in all sorts of ways, both in terms of their psychosocial relationships. Some of them are developing terrible psychosomatic problems. There are all sorts of manifestations of it. And
career choices
is another example.
Yes, choices, all this is being affected by it, isn't it?
Most definitely.
And you even see it manifest through typology as well, which I think is quite an interesting thing. That they can either take on their mother's type or resist it. And the resisting element, I think, is really interesting because you can see in Myers-Briggs terms anyway the inferior function coming through to challenge the mother's dominant type, which they actually answer the Myers-Briggs as.
They do.
Or in an unclear way. For example, you gave an example before, didn't you, where someone had introverted feelings.
That's right, yes.
And they manifest extroverted thinking. And this is all unconscious, they don't know they're doing it. But that's obviously an attempt, a homeostatic attempt, to contradict the influence negatively of the mother complex, which is operating in them in that way. And you get a very undifferentiated type then. The people who followed Myers-Briggs